Okay, people, last talk of the conference. I'm not going to take any selfies, and I know people must be already very, very tired, waiting for me to wrap everything up. So hopefully, this topic is interesting for you. And I know after so much of like AI, I am sure you must be wondering like, what exactly is going to happen in future? So are AI agents going to take over the world? And which is where this talk is also going in. So we're moving from reactive to becoming proactive, where the AI agents are going to become like mainstream thing. And a little bit about myself, maybe. I can take a minute to introduce myself. So I'm Atita Arora, and I've recently become an independent AI solution architect. I've started working in the field of information retrieval, been working since 2008. I have got 2 master degrees in computer applications and in business strategy. Along with that, big open source lover. I'm open source contributor as well on several projects in the area of AI, vector, semantic search, information retrieval. Personally, mom of 2 boys, and this is my first time in Athens. Absolutely love to travel, eat, and cook. So, I mean, I'm not going to kind of, like trouble you too much, but maybe a little bit of a trouble. Can we have a raise of hand of how many people have seen this movie, Her, which was released in 2013? Okay, not too many. Maybe I'm becoming old. So this is like my personal, all-time favorite, and I'll tell you why. And as you can see, like people who've been working in the field of AI like myself, it is a big driver. It's a big, really something. I was a student back then, and no, I was not a student back then. I was working, but then I think I was doing my second master's back then. But I saw this movie, and I think this was an instant kick for me that that is exactly what I want to do. So people who've seen the movie would be able to connect that this person on the poster, he had an AI agent in the phone-like device, which would do pretty much everything, like understand the human emotions, would be chatty like ChatGPT, would be like, would compose the content for this person as well. So anything and everything that pretty much our LLMs do at the moment. And as you can see, Sam Altman, when they released the ChatGPT 4.0 launch, he had this tweet, which basically signifies how important this movie has been for the AI development, and this movie definitely continues to inspire all of us, as in the community. Sorry for a busy slide. I wanted to basically, not one by one, because I have a lot of slides, but talk about some of the text that was introduced by this movie and what you would see in the real life. And as you would see that Samantha, the AI assistant, this is something very similar to what OpenAI's ChatGPT is, or any other LLM, for the matter of fact. Devin, who does coding for you. I'm not sure how many people have tried Devin. If there are a lot of developers in the room, show of hand. No one? Okay, sad. I was actually going to ask about Claude Code or Cursor AI, but seems like that doesn't go anywhere. But then the important thing about natural conversations and understanding human emotions, there are other systems like Pi. Anyone used Pi? Yes, I'm really into like AI tools. That's what I do. So, but then different tools which are basically leveraging and bringing in different capabilities that you can use AI in your day-to-day life. And you would see that on left-hand side, there are tools that were basically shown in the movie and tools which are basically made in the real life. So yeah, I mean, journey doesn't really stop here. It just keeps going. So I would quickly see, yeah, March 10th. This particular snapshot to showcase that how landscape is growing, I had to take this 3 times until the organizer said, like, no more changes allowed, and I was like, okay, last change. So this is to show you the landscape of AI agents at the moment, and no, it's not really a hype, it's a real thing. I mean, you have more than 1,100 agents in more than 50 different categories. So you have productivity agents, you have sales agents, you have personal assistants, and you have, obviously, agentic frameworks, whatnot. So yes, it's definitely interesting. If you want to check it out further, there's a reference link out there. You can check it out. Maybe the number must have grown to even bigger number. So you might be wondering, so, okay, Atita, so you're saying that the future is controlled by AI agents? Well, not me, I'm not saying it. It was Andrew Ng. I guess everyone trusts him in the field of machine learning and AI. And he predicted last year that watch out for AI agents. It's something which is really, really promising. So what he tries to say is that we're moving from generalized to more specialized thinking. We're moving from slow to fast thinking. We're moving from single agent to multi-agents. So we're looking at unbundling, rebundling, and whatnot. I mean, all about orchestrating this framework where we bring in a lot of different capabilities in one single piece of software from many different sources. And that's what we're seeing in action right now. And that looks promising. So I know, a lot of buzzwords, and I don't know how many people are really experimenting with AI agents. I know people are doing something with LLMs. How about LLM AI agents? Okay, 1, 2, okay, all right. And you as well? Okay, I would say that's a very small number. Hopefully next year when we meet, everyone in the room says like, yeah, I do AI agents. And the reason why I wanted to have this slide in here, because it looks like kind of a university course, and sorry, I wanted to make sure everyone is on the same page. Wanted to show you like the anatomy of AI agent. So as you would see, there are some important, I would say, terminologies here, which I've tried to highlight in my picture, and also on my definition here, that an AI agent is nothing but an intelligent application that combines what? AI model with structured instructions. I think throughout the day, we've been talking about how the landscape of AI applications are changing, how from a simple RAG application, people have decided to move towards AI agentic RAG applications, I think the first talk of the day, which was a pretty good segue into rest of the talks today. So structured instructions, which guide its behavior. Who's AI agents? And what we achieve with that is that it basically autonomously interacts with its environment. It utilizes external tools as well, which means additional capabilities that can be brought in from outside. And one of the key things here is that it can operate in the dynamic runtime condition. So its behavior can be changed on the conditions that are brought in the environment, which makes that it has the ability to adapt to the new inputs, new data, new environmental condition. It can make the decision and execute actions based on the goal and the actions. So the goal is defined, and the rest of it is kind of something that changes. And that's what I tried to kind of show in the picture here as well. AI model, structured instructions, autonomous interaction, external tools, dynamic runtime, adaptation, decision-making, and of course, action execution. That is the role of the agent. I know it was a bit wordy, so which is why I've tried to break it down into another. That's attempt number 2, because I want to make sure that you walk out of this room at least understanding and can sound smart to your colleague tomorrow or whenever you meet them next. Telling them that, like, I know about AI agents. So AI agent is nothing but it has a brain and a body just like a human being. Brain is basically the AI model, which basically plans, reasons, and does all the decision making. The body is all the tools and capabilities, just like a human being. I can walk, I can talk, I can move my limbs. That is the kind of capabilities that I'm talking about here. And the key characteristics involve autonomy, goals and actions that it can execute, and the adaptability to the changing data. So I would say it's not really a new thing. You guys have been using AI agents all this while. Yay. So you should have all raised your hands when I said, who uses AI agents? All of us. Because we use our phones. Siri, Google Assistant, Alexa, everything is driven by AI agents. You give them a task like, set my timer. It knows what instructions, where to take the instruction, what tools from your phone it needs to use to kind of execute that action. So yes, hooray, all of us are using AI agents. We all are smart. Customer service bot is another example where we use AI agents intensively because The key thing here is that we need to interact with the customer in natural language. I would also be talking about some of the use cases, the real one, where we would be talking about them in more detail. So you might be wondering, OK, so AI agent is this intelligent piece of software that I can use. It can give additional capabilities to my LLMs. So what? What is the benefit? I mean, of course, apart from looking smart, the potential benefit is, I think this is what Florian also covered about, that it improves the efficiency. It makes you faster. Because one of the things that I've seen, and this is how I would believe I started using LLMs and AI, is that it would improve my efficiency. It would make me faster. I think that's all of us have in our minds, that it would help us automate routine tasks. And I think that's a very, I would say, like sensible usage of AI. It frees up human capital to do more strategic work, write more content, paint a picture, whatnot. But yes, that's not what we are going to be doing. Also, another thing is that with agents, we could leverage one of the key capabilities of computers. That is, it can process vast amount of data. That's what it should be doing at the same time, providing data-driven insights. And of course, in the next point, I try to talk about that the decision-making, which is controlled by all of this data, which has been provided to it. So your strategies could be adjusted based on the feedback loop. Your software can work under dynamic conditions. So obviously, all of this looks pretty promising, I would say. So the benefits do not stop there. Of course, they are computer, they are piece of software, which means that we can scale them as needed. We can provide more resources, we can spin up another instance and create more of such agents. And why this is important, because if you were to increase your workforce, it would take like forever to hire a human being. So yes, I think given Florian's maybe condition, we would need more human being. I think it would be easier to spin up another machine and get another agent going on. Another thing is that, again, we're moving towards being more proactive. And I think this is what computers do the best. I mean, I've personally been in the machine learning field for almost like 2 decades. So I can say that the models definitely are improving over the period of time. The more data they are exposed to, the more proactive they become in identifying potential risk and identifying where there could be a system downtime, for example, coming up with strategies where we can predict the downtime and also can reduce the financial losses. This is very important in terms of, for example, the use cases where money is really key. We would be discussing about that too in the forthcoming slides. The idea being that we can take protective measures. So the aspect being that from very simple rule-based system, I know some of here said that some of us here are big fans of rule-based systems, but I would say that we are exposed to like limited, I would say, capabilities and functions that we can achieve with rule-based systems, and I think we are very in the very reactive phase if we stick to kind of rule-based systems. And the idea being that we want more speed, we want action. And this is something that we can achieve with AI agents. So we can work under complex, highly complex data conditions. They're highly adaptable. Their learning capability is really, really high because they're constantly learning if the implementation is done that way. And one of the key things about LLMs and I think all the applications is that they are contextually aware. So yeah, I don't want this talk to be more like, oh yeah, yada yada, like talk about it in a theory and like not really show anything. So I want to talk about AI agents in real life, like who has done AI agents implementation, what was the result, what did they get out of it, did they get what they actually planned for. So this is the first implementation I'm going to be talking about in healthcare. I think this is very crucial because a lot of things in healthcare are good candidates for the automation. For example, in the middle, I've tried to highlight some of the use cases, which is what people are using agents for at the moment. There are some uncooked, I would say, analysis and use cases which are not yet like completely published. Like from NVIDIA, they're also doing like research into like cancer research and like other advanced kind of implementations with patient intake for clinical trials, because these are the processes that require a lot of data analysis and a lot of data crunching. So this is a good use case, and so the use case that I'm going to be talking about is from Virgin Pulse. It's a global health engagement company with more than 18 million members in 190 countries. So you can imagine multilingual, multi-regional, so on and so forth are the challenges. And the cases that I was talking about are ID and verification. This is something which is what we could use agents for. Fixing appointments. I mean, I live in Germany. It takes like forever to find appointments with the doctors. I would love if AI agents kind of enable us to do that. Bill payment, referral to another doctor or a better doctor, refills of your medicines, and similarly answering some of the questions about your medical conditions, also about your medicines. That would also be a nice usage of RAG, I would say. Updates on my insurance, like recently I went as an independent consultant. That changes my insurance status. I mean, I would love to that I don't have to go to an insurance office and I can do it online with the help of some AI agent. Patient intake that I spoke about, because the clinical trials are a very data-intensive process. Again, a good candidate for automation with AI agents. Post-discharge support, and one of the key things that Virgin Pulse did was maintaining a personalized health experience for all their employees and the companies that were using them, which was able to predict in advance like the health issues that the employees or people who were using it would have, so as to kind of come up with the proactive measures. And in the first month itself, because that's what they've published so far, that after using it for 1 month, they already have 97% intent score and 40% containment rate. People who do not understand that, it's more like how many times people were really satisfied with agents and the resolution that was given to them. I think the number looks pretty impressive. The next use case that I want to talk about is using AI agents in finance. I know. Now, people who are investing their money into the stock markets, I think they would be like, no way. No, AI agents, I don't trust them with my money. But this is the case study, and all of these references are on the slides. Once you have access to them, I think you will be able to read through the complete article. This is something that's taken from the OpenAI blog. And there's a company called Rogo, which has been using Agentic AI very, very heavily. So imagine I have worked to develop a very smart, not AI agents, because this was like 2 years ago, on our RAG system, which was analyzing market value of different stock prices and like acquisition model and whatnot. So I know that processing the financial information of the companies has by far been a very complicated job, which was driven by taxonomies and rules and a lot of metadata, a lot of real-time information which was grabbed from the web content. So this has been by far like very complicated project that I worked on. And I don't work there anymore, but I'm sure they're also like thinking about moving on agents because it was kind of a similar kind of system. So I know the picture is kind of crooked, but if you go to OpenAI blogs, you would find this as well. And this is the agentic system, which is basically handling all the complex financial workflows. So people who are, again, investing, they would know that this thing is not easy. So multi-step query planning and comprehension, like where should the funds be moved based on the decision of market prices at the moment, like movement of the funds and stuff. This is all done by AI agents in this piece of software. Context management, efficient search, and to be able to access this in multiple platforms on demand. This is what they do at Rogo. The other case study that I want to talk about, and I beg your pardon, I have to walk really fast because I have a lot of slides, as I said before. So this is the Klarna AI use case, where we would be talking about the customer assistants or customer agents. And as you can see, it's dated like last year, February 27th, 2024. And they are already talking about that. We've already had our agents handle 2.3 million requests, which is essentially close to like a work of 700 full-time employees. So imagine that. And I know it's kind of like really heavy and wordy slide, which is why I would use that as a segue also into my next topic. So 700 full-time customer agents, which led to 25% drop in repeat queries. I mean, we discussed about many different strategies in the first talk today as to implementation of semantic cache. I know this was not the exact term that the speaker used, but that's what he meant, the semantic cache, and which meant that the resolution time reduced from 11 to 2 minutes. I mean, if I was not waiting for that long on a customer service call, I would be super happy. They operate in 23 markets, 24/7, and communicate in more than 35 languages. Isn't that amazing? I mean, imagine finding so many people in speaking so many different languages. It would be horrible. It would give recruiters a nightmare. But why this is like the segue into my next topic, because this is from this year, February, exactly after 1 year. And this is a retweet from Sebastian, who is CEO of Klarna, by the way. And what he tweeted about was, we have decided to hold off on spending any more on AI agents. And the guy probably is trying to troll him, like, you published such an amazing results last year, and what about, like, why do you want to stop now? So let's face it, what could be the real reason? Well, enterprises are always super, super excited, like, oh, wow, this is the new tech. We want to do AI agents. Who wants to do AI agents? We want to do AI agents. But then let's look at your data. And that doesn't take you to heaven. Rather, it places you in the data hell. That's exactly what this is. So data definitely is one of the major reasons why such advancements may fail if you don't look at your data. Apart from data, let's not give too much credit to the data. Of course, it's a primary thing. But apart from that, the integration with existing systems, performance and reliability, and finding a tool to match the quality of your use case. Along with that, I mean, people who've been working with LLMs would know that hosting such systems to work with LLMs, they are very, very heavy models. You would need a lot of computational power, which means a lot of infrastructure cost. And then one of the key things here, no idea about if it's going to be successful or not. So ROI is very uncertain. Apart from that, the human factors, people getting to know that now they're going to be served by automated system and not really by a human being. I think there's a bit of like change management that needs to happen. Then is the knowledge gaps. I think this is covered by evaluations to quite an extent, but like, let's be real. I mean, it is something still like which is I would say like not 100% kind of covered. Then comes the really important point. I think something that maybe Richie also touched on in his previous talk about trust and security. And I think the first talk in the morning about ethical concern and organizational governance. I think all of this takes us to the point where we still have some fear. Like I personally, even if I'm working and developing such systems, it would skip a little bit of my heartbeat if I have to share my credit card information with an AI agent, knowing that there is a quite possibility that it may end up misusing it. Or I don't know who tested the software, like how mature this is. Can I really share it? What is the guarantee that it doesn't messes up? So, yeah. And this is the exact same question that I am asking. And don't get me wrong, I'm all in for AI agents, and this is what I do, it's my bread and butter. But at the same time, I'm going to ask you, like, would you trust your finances with AI agents? Would you share like your credit card or bank details or even your social security number if you were in the US with AI agents? I don't think so. I think we're not there yet. That the trust and security is not baked to an extent where I feel confident enough to start sharing this information, and I feel safe sharing this information. Similarly, would you be comfortable taking the medicines that are prescribed by AI agents? Maybe if it's a regular medicine, maybe. But what if, remember the time when anything that you would search for on Google would say, like, oh, you have cancer. So I don't think so. Anyone would be comfortable doing that either unless it's a routine medicine. One of the key things here is that who takes responsibility when AI fucks up? Sorry for the bad word. But we need to know, like, when we are using some system, someone needs to take responsibility, and we can't really throw everything on like, oh, because LLM, it's hallucinating, like my T-shirt. So no, that doesn't work, and which is why one needs to kind of think about it and think, like, how do we ensure AI agents aren't used for kind of something unlawful? I think you had something on your slide about, like maybe hack this system or create something which is unlawful and committing fraud, for example. So how do we ensure we're not there at the moment of like trusting systems to that extent that we start, implementing AI agents in that kind of extent? And I know part of it would feel like a repetition because this is where we kicked off our day, and it's kind of a full loop now. We started with data and bias and fairness in the morning. And I know this is still like a workable strategy that we focus on regular assessment and evaluation, maybe through humans and testing. That's what we also heard about during our day. So feedback loops are very essential so that the decisions which are taken by these AI agents could be trusted, of course, through evaluation. One of the other things is like if I have to share my data with, anything to do with models or a machine, we need to have some sort of like data privacy laws, some sort of like data protection laws. We have to make sure that there are security protocols so that we can avoid like my data is not misused in any way. Other thing, I think this is probably by far something that has been maybe talked about in pretty much all the talks today. And it's like balancing autonomous operation with human supervision. And I'm completely in. I've also gone ahead from human in the loop to human on the loop and human in command. So all of these actions about how can we involve human in the decision making, how can we make sure that human is the one who kind of has the capability to intervene, and human is the one who presses the button and then the operation goes through. Although that was not really the idea when we started the discussion about AI agents. It was all about autonomous decision making. So that doesn't really solve the purpose. One of the other things is transparent AI governance framework, which means we need to have some sort of like ethical board, some sort of like ethical review measures, where we can say that this is how these systems are going to be reviewed, and there has to be some sort of like way to explain the decision-making process of these AI agents, which means, again, some transparency for humans to intervene and identify as to why this decision was taken in this condition. And I would say this is a good start. But at the same time, one of the other things is that, again, I would like to bring back one of my other points, that the whole idea to use LLMs and to use models or AI was to speed things up. We don't want that, with the idea of involving human in the loop, we would actually slow everything down. And then human becomes the bottleneck of everything. And that's exactly what I was trying to say here. If you have ever tried to write a piece of software, like, again, as I use a lot of AI tools, I've also used Bolt.neo. I don't know if you guys have used it. OK. Or Perplexity, if you're trying to use like deep research or browser-based. OK, thank you. So at least you would see that there are a lot of different steps, hundreds of steps. And you imagine that human can really stay in the loop, and these operations would still save you some time? Well, I don't know. Micromanagement definitely is not the way forward. So what else can we do? We need to have interfaces for trust and control. Like, we need to have something. As of now, like, the AI interfaces are smitten by human in the loop. Yes, we all have been discussing, like, oh, we need human in the loop, human in the loop. And I know this would definitely work. But then, as AI agents become more autonomous, the interfaces will need to balance transparency. Tracking these agents should be possible, but with some sort of abstraction. And as I said before, this is in no way like stopping you guys from not trying AI agents. Let's go build a lot of AI agents for sure, but then keeping all of these points in mind. And we can ask some questions. Hopefully, I left some time.
We might have time for one short question. please.
What is the chance that an AI agent doing financial transactions competitively with another one would trigger collapse of the financial markets and a recession?
Well, that's probably going in the same direction. I mean, if the AI agents or the so-called, I mean, there are 7 or 8 different kind of agents, and considering like I'm using the investment model like that orchestrates my investments in different funds, and if this model has, I would say like it's not efficient enough, this may end up putting the funds into some fund or some maybe ETF or some share where it's not really growing. I think that kind of a bad decision may lead us into recession, because it would do that not for one client, but pretty much for everyone that's using that piece of software. But I would doubt. I think these are the kind of like maybe decisions, at least I haven't personally seen, like AI kind of doing it. But yeah, this can certainly happen, and I'm all in for like avoiding such a situation. Which is what I'm saying, like I'm all in for autonomous operations which are conducted by AI agents, as long as we have some way to justify like why the funds were moved into this other share or other company or other ETF. So, yeah.
Thank you very much, Atita.
Thank you so much.